Sacramento County has struggled to get something else passed. Zoom out and kind of tell me, what do you think is the key to getting back some of that public support for transportation infrastructure? Because it hasn't happened in the last several different attempts. What do you think's the key there?
Well, I think there's been a change in public attitude towards taxation. So I think that's a fundamental issue that we're facing. People just think they're taxed too much.
They've had enough.
And that's probably one of the biggest impacts on these measures as we try to get more resources to build things. You take a jurisdiction like Sacramento County, and there's so many needs, but they vary. So you've got a huge population that supports additional transit. Count me in that camp. I think we need to have more transit operations in Sacramento. I think Henry Lee and his crew have done a really good job of trying to hold things together, but it's tough. You got to take care of that system, and there's so many opportunities for expansion. I'm a big fan of extending light rail to the airport. That would be a great thing. I could get on in Folsom, where I live today, and get to the airport. And in any event, there's multiple demands, for different modes. But if you look at the history of these self-help counties, the one thing that is always at the top of the list is maintenance and rehabilitation of the roads.
Potholes.
That's exactly right. Potholes. That's what people want to see. So we've put a lot of money into the system here in Sacramento County, but I still drive down streets that are not in really good shape. And when I talk about transportation to other people, you go to a party or whatever, they're saying, well, look at the condition of the streets, that. Yeah. And then they get into the deal. They're spending that money on something else. And I have to tell them, look, that money is dedicated. There's a system in place. You really need to know that those dollars are being spent on what they're supposed to be spent. Same with the state gas tax. It may not be enough. You think the cost of doing business is going up and all of that stuff, but those monies are dedicated. And I wish that's something that I could communicate to all the voters. But I think that plays into it too. People think that they're doing something else with the dough, and I believe that's probably had one of the biggest impacts as that has grown.
The perception.
Yeah, the perception. But I think the public still wants to see those roads taken care of.
Yeah.
And but then you've got other interest groups, and I can't fault them for this. They want to see investment in transit. They want to see investment in other projects. I think the federal situation has been somewhat problematic in terms of how it's jumped around. We've had all of these major transportation initiatives. Now we're going to see a change in the next year. What's that going to be? Is it going to shift away from environmental considerations? What's the federal government under the new administration going to do relative to providing money for transit?
Yeah.
I mean, for transportation.
Yeah. I mean, California has been a big winner in the past. And, certainly in very recent weeks, there's news stories about funding being halted and being paused. And so, nobody's happy about that type of uncertainty.
Yeah.